I think there's a really significant connection between clutter and money that either goes unspoken or tends to fall on deaf ears. And here's why I believe that. For the last several months, my wife and I have been methodically decluttering with great intention. And not because our home is cluttered. I mean, one look at our apartment and anyone can see that we don't keep a lot of unnecessary stuff laying around. However, we're still decluttering in preparation for our son because we know there'll be some things we'll need as our family grows. And last week we were decluttering, which as a result, we filled up that trash bag right there, which I should probably drop off at Goodwill today. But we came across an item, well, several items that we don't really need right now. And I remember saying to my wife, hey, just get rid of it. And if we find that we really need it later, we'll just go get one. Now, as I think back on that statement, they say hindsight is 2020. I'm realizing that that is a privileged thing to say. Why? Well, just think about it. You have to have a certain level of financial stability and confidence in order to make a statement like that in the first place. You have to believe that you can afford to get that thing later if you actually need it. Now, hear me out for a second. I'm extremely grateful that my wife and I are in a position to make a statement like this. And that's because we sacrificed and got out of debt early before we got married. For context, we paid off just over $40,000 combined. I had $23,000 in student loan debt that I paid off in 12 months. My wife had just over $19,000 in car debt that she paid off in 14 months. Now, there are a few different reasons we did this that I can get into at another time, but mainly so that we can have financial stability and confidence. However, we both understand what it's like to truly think, but what if I need that? And to know that deep down it's coming from a place of financial instability. And if you can relate to this in any way, comment below and let me know, because these are true feelings that I don't think are talked about enough. Now, of course, there are a ton of excuses we give when decluttering to help us justify keeping things we don't need, such as it being a gift, the item was expensive, a collectible, or the what if excuse is a big one. What if, and then fill in the blank. But if financial instability happens to be the underlying emotion you feel in any of these scenarios, then I would like to gently and compassionately suggest that you focus on your finances before you focus on your clutter. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the tools to do that. It's very important that I say this right off the bat. Personal finances are personal. That doesn't mean personal in the sense that you shouldn't talk to someone else about your money. Especially if you're married, I think you and your partner should be talking about finances often, in my opinion. However, making finances personal means focusing on your situation and not worrying about anyone else's situation. Trust me when I tell you the comparison game is a very slippery slope. And it's in your best interest that you don't lose yourself in that darkness, despite how normalized it is in our culture and society, and instead block it out completely. Forget about keeping up with the Joneses. It doesn't matter if your friends are making more money than you. And who cares if others perceive you as being too frugal or cheap? The only thing that matters is how much you have and how you use what you have to reach your goals. Debt will always make it difficult to reach financial stability because having payments and owing someone else money every month is the quickest way to feel like you'll never have enough money. And believe it or not, this also negatively impacts the clutter in your life because it keeps you second guessing your decluttering decisions, leading you to believe that you need to keep things just in case because maybe you're unsure that you will have the money to buy it later if you end up needing it. Now, speaking of paying off debt in combination with decluttering, of course, some people can make progress on both areas at the same time and end up paying off debt with the money they make from selling stuff they don't need. However, and I've talked about this before in other videos, selling unneeded items will only get you so far. And often the act of selling itself creates yet another roadblock and excuse that we cling to as to why we aren't getting rid of something. Maybe we're having a hard time selling an item for the price we want, and therefore we decide to keep it until someone else is willing to pay what we want for it. It gets messy, trust me. So if you desire to have more simplicity in your home, but you're struggling to get rid of stuff and selling it isn't working like you hoped, then here's a question I want you to think about. And with complete transparency, this question will lead you towards focusing on your money before your clutter. But you can make that decision for yourself. Here's the question. If I had 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved and no unnecessary monthly payments, would that reduce mental stress and help me be able to tackle clutter with a different perspective? Comment below your answer if you care to share, because I'd love to have a bit of a dialogue with you. Now, in my Clutter to Clarity quick guide, which is a free download you can grab on my website, covering the 5 rules to living a completely clutter-free life, just go to ronaldlbanks.com/quick guide. But rule number 4 in that guide is all about finances. And I give you a host of other questions that you can ask in the context of yearly, monthly, and weekly. So consider grabbing that as well. See, if your goal is to own less and experience all of the benefits of doing so, which I assume it is since you're watching this video and presumably other videos on my channel as well, then don't just focus on your clutter. Take some time to focus on your finances as well. And to help you get started the right way, check out this video here for a complete guide to frugal living, or perhaps this one to find out exactly what my wife and I don't buy to save money. Keep growing on your journey and always stay true to you. Peace.